Contracts for deeds present advantages to buyers and sellers, but there are hazards that come with them as well. To mitigate these risks, there are steps that buyers, sellers, and their agents can take. The first thing agents should recommend to clients, whether buyers or sellers, is to go through a title company and have them perform a title search, which offers protection to the involved parties. If any changes are made to the contract after the initial signing, they must be mutually accepted and in writing. Proper documentation ensures the parties understand the transaction, and one can't come back later claiming they never signed or agreed to the change. Now, let's look at specific guidance for buyers in contracts for deeds. Buyers should always record the contract with the county clerk once it's signed, for two reasons. First, having a recorded document helps to ensure that the seller is obligated to transfer the property to the buyer once they're paid. And second, it gives the buyer priority over other parties who may attempt to take the property if the seller has unpaid debts. Buyers in a contract for deed should always make their payments in a timely manner. This includes making sure the seller actually receives the payment. For documentation purposes, payments should always be made by check or money order. If the buyer happens to make a late payment, they must include late fees established in the contract along with any interest. Buyers should keep a detailed record of all the payments they make and should include dates of payment and copies of checks. Also encourage buyers to purchase title insurance before they sign. It offers them protection should there be a defect or encumbrance on the title. Buyers should be advised to avoid buying from sellers using a quitclaim deed, as these release a seller's interest in a property and prevent them from making any future claims on it. They do not ensure that the title is free of defects or encumbrances. In fact, quitclaims don't even confirm that the seller owns the property. Now, let's look at guidance for sellers. Always advise sellers to research potential buyers. This would include credit reports, verifying employment, and personal references. It's also a good idea to perform a title search on any property already owned by the buyer. It's in a seller's best interest to ask for a significant down payment to ensure the buyer will have a long-term investment in the property as well. As with buyers, sellers should keep detailed records of payments they receive, noting the date they receive payment, and keep a copy of all checks. Let's run through some strongly recommended tips from Minnesota law involving contracts for deeds. These are found in Minnesota Statutes, Section 559.202. There are 7 key items that Minnesota law highly recommends for buyers before they sign a contract for deed. First, get advice from a lawyer or from the Minnesota Home Ownership Center. Second, have an independent professional appraisal to learn what the property is actually worth. Third, get an independent professional inspection done of the property. The fourth is to buy title insurance, or at least ask a real estate attorney for a title opinion. Fifth on the list is to check with the city or county where the property is located to determine if any inspection reports have been filed or if there are any unpaid utility bills. Sixth is to check with a title agent or the county to see if there are any mortgages or liens on the property and if taxes have been paid. Finally, the seventh is that buyers should make sure that the interest rate on the contract doesn't exceed the maximum currently allowed by law. This can be done by calling the Department of Commerce for the current month's maximum rate. These tips help to ensure that both buyers and sellers in a contract for deed don't have any hidden surprises or expenses that could make the deal fall through. Any client that wants to participate in a contract for deed should be given this information, and you should make sure to help them along the way and keep an eye out for any red flags.